There we go. Hi, Baes. It's your girl, Chaila, creator of Baeology, a real life study of love and relationships, coming at you once again with another installment of the self series Before Anyone Else. Before we get right on into it, I just want to say thank you to my new Baes. Thank you to my old Baes. If you have not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on the alerts, feel free to comment, like, and share. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Chaila Scott. Yeah. So before I get started with the next topic that we're going to talk about, I just would like to say that this video has no editing whatsoever. For some reason, I usually record on my phone, and that just was not happening for me. And I am under a time restraint. So I'm going to try to zip to it and get to it as quickly as possible with as less as possible as well, because I usually edit those out. So yeah, getting right on into it. This particular topic that I want to talk about, it goes hand in hand with last week's topic, which was emotional trauma. And I want to dive a little deeper in that. And so this topic for this week will be triggers and its origins. And so I think a lot of us are walking around, excuse me, and we are unaware of our triggers or the things that trigger us. Like patterns, triggers are a very similar or predictable reaction to a given set of circumstances or variables. I was about to forget the word. Or variables. So for instance, I'll give you an example. If every time I see purple shoes, it makes me want to go eat chocolate, and I have an unhealthy relationship with chocolate, then that is a trigger. Otherwise, I would see the purple shoes, I would eat the chocolate if I wanted to, and then I would go on about my business. But for some reason, a trigger is not only a set of variables that cause a certain reaction, but it's a certain reaction that goes against the essence of your soul. So you are very much so ruled by your ego when there's a trigger afoot. Some people's triggers are confrontation. They don't like being told anything. So when you come to them, no matter how you come to them, no matter how humbly and how nicely and how kindly you come to them, that will trigger them into becoming something completely different outside of the person that you know. These triggers, just like patterns, exist to get your attention, to call you to a higher level of existence, to challenge you to do something else. A lot of times triggers are very, very sneaky. They sneak up on us and we have no idea that we're acting out this emotional pattern that's caused by something. But it's very, very important to get to know what your triggers are. So if you have been rocking with me during the pattern video, a lot of times your triggers are in those patterns. So I want you to go back if you have not already seen the pattern video, or if you already watched it, go back and reevaluate those patterns. So if you already did that, I am challenging you to dig a little deeper to see underneath that what is triggering those patterns. And for one, it takes a lot of accountability and responsibility. That's one. So if you're going into looking at patterns and triggers, blaming everybody else, you're never going to find it. So you have to take a responsible standpoint of what you're responsible for. You're only responsible for yourself. And so you, in essence, you're the only person that's responsible for your emotional reactions. A lot of people say, oh, well, if I tell somebody something, I don't want to face their emotional reaction. Well, if you're telling someone some information out of love and it's to reinforce a boundary of your own, or it's some constructive criticism, or it's just something that's been sitting in your spirit that you have to get out, and you tell this person out of a space of love, after you release that message and that you've effectively conveyed your message, you are not responsible for their emotional reaction. However, you are responsible for your own emotional reaction. And in that realization, you realize you can control those triggers and you can break those patterns. Okay? It's highly possible, but you have to pay very close attention. The third thing is to look at this from a very humanistic standpoint. Do not review your triggers and patterns and then you've done amazing work to find the triggers and find the patterns only to beat yourself up for having triggers and patterns. That's so counterproductive. It's crazy. Don't do that. I'm telling you. Usually I'll be like, oh, don't do that. Don't go through all of this time digging deep and searching and uncovering and doing this amazing work only to get the answers and beat yourself up. I used to do that all the time. I would literally leave no rock unturned, and then I would realize what I was doing and automatically go into self-beat up mode because I judged it. So it's very important during this process, if you choose to go down this path, do not judge yourself. And if you want to take it a step further to not judge yourself, what you can do is your research on how and where and from whom you develop these triggers, patterns, and behaviors from. For that, really finding the root of it, its origin, is really the only way to notice a trigger and notice that you're about to be triggered. You can see the writings on the wall, you can see the variables, and then you can make a choice to remove yourself out of that situation or do what you need to do in love instead of anger or hurt. All a trigger is a emotional reaction out of hurt, because underneath anger, there's hurt. Underneath disappointment and frustration, there's hurt. For some reason, we have convinced ourselves that we have been violated. And I say convinced ourselves because that is completely subjective. You could take two different people and put them in the same situation and they may interpret that two different ways. Somebody might take offense to it, somebody may not. It depends on the person. So we choose how we emotionally react and respond to things. We choose whether we know it or not. So if you're unaware of this, if this is something that you're just hearing about and it's an eye opener for you, just know that you've been choosing. On a subconscious level, you just may not have known that. So give yourself some credit. I want you to applaud yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for coming this far. It's amazing. I am just so excited. I can't believe I'm actually like rolling this out. I've been talking about doing this and I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and it's finally happening. And so that's it for me, Baes. Like I said, you can follow me on Instagram at Chaila Scott. Make sure to subscribe to Official Baeology, my channel. You can also turn on those alerts. You can find me on Facebook, Chaila Scott, under the same name. And You can also email me at baeologyinfo@gmail.com. That's BAEOLOGY, baeologyinfo@gmail.com for any questions, inquiries, speaking engagements, one-on-one consultations, couples consultations. Bring it on. It's 2019 and I got y'all. I wasn't confident enough to put that out there last year, but this year I'm putting it out there and I'm speaking it into existence, and there's going to be much, much more to come for Baeology, and I'm extremely excited about it. I want you to take these nuggets and let them sit in your spirit. Be kind to each other. Till next time, Baes. I love y'all. Bye-bye.